I do exercise so nice. Oh my
I
God.
tripped. I tripped and fell.
Yeah.
I said I tripped and fell earlier.
What happened?
I don't know. The phone was ringing, and I came to the living room to get it. And the chair. There's a chair here and that table, and my foot got caught there. I tripped. And next thing I know, by my knee was all swollen, real big. And my left toe too.
Oh.
I felt like it's sprained or something. I don't know. It's probably gonna take a while, but the swelling went down a lot. I took some Tylenol, so the swelling went down, but the sprain by the toe, I could still feel that.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, my toe. Wow. If I put pressure on it, I don't know how long that's gonna last. Yeah, a recruiter called me about working at a hotel. I think where they put some of those people in quarantine. But
Mm-hmm.
it's near the airport, near LaGuardia Airport. To get there, I'll have to take a train then a bus. It's gonna take a little over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that because I mean the money is fine, but you know to spend all that time on the train, then get on a bus, and people who go to the airport, they usually take that bus to go there, you know, because I've been on that bus before to the airport, and it usually gets crowded. The last thing I need is being on a bus with a crowded bus with people with a virus still going around. Hmm. So you're happy with that check, huh? That you got?
Mm-hmm. It helped me a lot.
You're happy, huh?
Yeah.
$1,200. I know when you saw that amount of money, you must have been, wow, you must have been so happy.
Mm-hmm.
So when are you going to put it in the bank?
Tomorrow. And I tomorrow I have to drop my car off to my bank.
The mechanic?
Yeah. They're gonna check at the boy because something there.
The brake again? I thought something was wrong with the brake before.
He's checking. Something I think they do suggestion with the boy, so they have to check it.
Well, you can use that money and invest in another car.
Yeah, I think about it. Okay, wait. Why allow American men think Filipino, Filipino woman they love Filipino women so much? A lot of white men they think Filipino woman is so good to miss.
Well, maybe Filipino women, they have an ability to make people, to put some men at ease, I guess, you know,
Like what?
to calm some men, and also to, with the culture, uh, they have an advantage because going back in history, you know, at the turn of the at the turn of the 20th century, you know, they had the American forces in there after the battle with Spain, when the Philippines was ceded to the Americans. And so they had the advantage of having English, you know, as part of their language there. And if you go there, a lot of people, not all, but a lot of them speak English. So that's an advantage, you know, other than like some of the countries, some women may have a hard time speaking when you're dealing with you. And they also, I would say they're taking a lot of like American culture, like movies, things like that, music, and so forth. Some of them up and uh, popular stuff like what's going on in entertainment, more so than some other cultures. So, so there's something to talk about if you meet a woman from the Philippines, you know, because they may know something. They could tell you something about America, whereas the average American can't really tell you something about some of these other countries that they may go to, or if they do tell you, it may be more like a stereotype. You know, like somebody saying something like Thailand. Well, what would an American say about Thailand? Oh well, they have certain stereotypes about Thailand they may get into, you
Mm,
know. And but there will be more to the country that they probably never looked up, or if you want to talk about maybe Colombia,
mm-hmm,
you know, you mentioned Colombia, they may say, oh, you know, that's where a lot of cocaine comes from, you know, stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
You see, so you turn it around, and they will be able to have a conversation with you, which is helpful for them, and it saves a lot of time. So you don't have to spend a lot of time like teaching them stuff, you know. So in other words, if they come here, it's easy for them to like hit the ground running, so to speak. Like they could go out there, they can get on a bus, they can they can travel, they can read the instructions more than likely, you know, and find their way around. And so that helps. That really helps a lot. If you can go somewhere, you can use a bus, you can find your way around, because it's not really that easy. You know, for somebody who comes here, and let's say they don't know the language, and you have to work, because in America, a lot of people have to work so much, you know, they don't get as much time off. So you have to take time off for that person to teach them, to show them around, take them places, or so forth. So that's one of the advantages there. And as I said, it goes back to the culture, how they, I guess, been brought up to treat people, or to treat a man, so to speak. So some men Some men look for that.
Yeah.
So that gives them the advantage. I remember years ago when I used to chat in the Yahoo chat room. There was a girl from Vietnam. I used to chat,
Yeah.
and she told me, she said, she said in the chat rooms, a lot of the people, she talking about the Asian females, said
Hmm.
they don't really like Filipinos. She said, I said, why is that? She told me, well, first of all, they tend to be better in English than most of the Asian ladies, and they tend to have more access to the men. That's what she told me. They tend to have more access to the men in the chat rooms. So if you go in the chat room, so if a girl from Vietnam or maybe Cambodia is kind of like struggling to have a conversation, using her English maybe slow and she's struggling to speak to a guy from America. The
Hmm.
guy from the Philippines may not have that problem. She can come out and have a conversation, Not only that, I remember a guy from Pakistan telling me, he said, wow, he said, I chat with different girls from the Philippines and you could chat with them with just about anything, you can have a conversation, you could talk about different topics, no matter what you throw at them in a chat room, they can come back at you and they can discuss the topic. So that was one guy, his perspective, how he saw them, right? So whereas like somebody else from some other country, you may be having a conversation and you're struggling. Like I went into the Vietnam room. I think it's on. Let me see. Yeah, I think it was Pal Talk, Vietnam, because Vietnam. If you ever go to Pal Talk, you will notice that Vietnam is not listed under the Asia section, like how you have Thailand, Cambodia, and so forth. No, it's not. It's under its own self. It has so many rooms that they put it under Vietnam. It stands up by itself. So if you go in there and you chat, you'll find that it's very hard to find a Vietnamese girl who can really speak English to you. you know, very, very hard. Now you may find some, but it's not that they're ignoring you, because somebody told me, oh, she doesn't understand English. So, which is true. And the Vietnamese girls that I did find who chat with me, they were not in the Vietnamese room. They were like in the regular room, the international room, meet new friends and so forth, where they come out and they chat with me, and they have some of them who speak good English. They don't have that problem. Their English is fine, and they don't really spend time in the Vietnamese room. But if you go into the Vietnamese room, well, good luck finding one of them who could speak um, English to you. And there are a lot of them in there. There are a lot, but it's just that they're not really that good in English. You see, so that's what. Getting back to that girl, she did speak English. The one I'm talking about, the Vietnamese one who told me that, and she said, "Well, that's the reason that a lot of the girls, a lot of the ladies in those rooms, they don't really like the woman from the Philippines because the woman from the Philippines, they tend to be very good at English, and because of that, they're more able to like get the men in the chat room to get the attention to gain control, you know, so the other woman will lose out." And I think she has a point because there was this one lady from the Philippines.
Yeah.
She used to be in a Bangkok room, a Bangkok one, and she used to be like a moderator. in there, very popular. But she wasn't Thai. She wasn't Thai. I mean, Bangkok is the capital of Thailand. But
Mm-hmm.
she used to be in that room, but she was from the Philippines. You know. But yeah, but she was popular because like you have a lot of guys who go in there, like Western people. They don't care. You know. So yeah, she was popular that way. But like for the Thai woman, woman from Thailand, they if they go in there it was grudgingly because they figure, well, it's like they figure, well, they couldn't really come out and say she didn't belong there
Yeah.
because it was an open room. But you would expect a room like that, like Bangkok One, you should have like a leading person, like somebody who is a Thai person who is in that room, who
Yeah.
would be who would be like a moderator or welcoming people or what have you. But it was a Filipino. So you find like a lot of the Thais didn't really go in that room. They went to like Thailand one instead, or
What
Thailand
room?
two.
What chat room you talking about?
This was this was well
And Yahoo?
this was in this was in the Yahoo. This was Yahoo
Long
Bangkok.
ago. Oh, this is Yahoo. They don't have it no more. I wish they come back.
No, they don't have that anymore.
Why?
But people move to Power Talk. And with Power Talk, you can create your own room, so
Yeah.
that's not an issue. But in Yahoo, no, you didn't really get to create your own room. In Yahoo, the rooms were set up already, so you go in and use the room. So you had no choice. You couldn't have your own room for you and your friends or what have you, like in Power Talk. So you had to use the room. And yeah, so that's what that girl said to me, the one from Vietnam. She said, that they not really like, and I think it's true because I speak to some others like this girl I know from Indonesia. She doesn't really like Filipinos at all. She doesn't really care for Filipinos. And when you try to ask her, it's like she doesn't. It's like she doesn't really have an answer that really should be satisfactory.
Indiana people don't like Malaysia, Indiana, Thai people. They don't like Filipino people too much. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because well, you ask her and like she would tell you things that really has nothing substantive to deal with the issue. Like, well, I don't really like how they speak English. It's like how they speak English is really annoying. The way they speak English, this and that. And they have certain stereotypes. Yeah, certain stereotypes and so forth about them. I think what it is. I mean, if you look at all the different Asian people, except maybe for like the Chinese, because the Chinese they've been around the world. They've been like in every country in the world. You go to, you find a Chinatown or something like that. You know.
Chinese people speak English a lot, most time.
No, but
No,
what I'm saying is that I wanted to compare them to the Filipinos because the Chinese have been around the world. They have Chinatowns. You go to certain countries, you see like Chinatown here, like in New York, you got Chinatown. You got in San Francisco Chinatown, Los Angeles Chinatown. You go to like Lima, Peru, you find a Chinatown. There are Chinatowns all over the world. You go to Dakar, Senegal in Africa, you find a Chinatown or so forth. However, with like Filipino, they blend in. I mean, you may have like certain areas where Filipino live in certain parts, But that's not really like to say, well, that's where they decide they're going to stay. That's probably where they do business. Like, maybe um, ship packages, do things like that, buy certain types of food or so forth. But they live all over the place. Whereas the Chinese usually they tended to get like in certain areas. They would fit into certain areas and so forth. And they more have like a history of like being among themselves.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the issues that I guess get them in trouble over the years. Like how they just keep to themselves or what have you, and don't seem to be involved in what's going on in the country. Maybe that's changing now, but that was the image that they projected.
Yeah.
So, but however, you do have Filipinos all over the world in different countries working and so forth, but different from the Chinese. Very different.
Yeah. That's a lot of men, American men like they a lot Filipino lady. For me, I don't think Filipino women is that great. What's so great about it? I think people from Indonesia is more prettier, or Malaysia. Palestinian woman is pretty.
That's what the that's 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 what the girl from Indonesia told me. She said that the ladies in Indonesia are more prettier.
Yeah, that's what I say too. I agree. A lot of black people say the same thing too. Black people say Indonesia woman's prettier and Malaysia woman's more prettier. Um, in Palestinian woman's prettier. Thai woman and Philippine is the same. They look the same. It's not that prettier. That's what I think so too. If
Yeah,
I look,
but I asked her. I said, okay, well, if you compare how many Indonesian women win the like the Miss Universe contest in
yeah,
comparison to like the Philippines, like Miss Universe, Miss World, or what have you. The Philippines has a number of them, a number of those beauty contests that they won. Whereas Indonesia, can you quickly think of the last time you heard somebody won Miss Universe from Indonesia? I mean, there probably is, but I don't really remember.
I would agree.
So the Philippines has one up in them. I mean, people can say, yeah, well, Indonesia got prettier women and what have you, but when it comes to beauty contests or what have you, I think the Philippines got most of them beaten in that category.
Just I think, for my opinion, I like Indonesian woman more prettier because they kind of look, they eye look better. And same with Palestinian eyes is more beautiful. So yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think too. Fi- Filipino women is they think they're so beautiful everywhere you go. Like a man want them. No way. For me, no, not my tiny tea.
Well, I think what it comes down to is like being able to be assertive, being able to like be be sure of oneself, to have like a certain self confidence. If somebody has a confidence or so forth,
Yeah,
then even if a person doesn't really look that great and they have like a certain uh, self confidence about themselves, they
yeah,
could still get far with that. Without a